Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've finally reached it. We've reached the end of the Aether storyline for the Call of Duty Black Ops series. Now, the Aether storyline has been around since Call of Duty World at War, and that game released all the way back in 2008. So this story's been going on for a total of pretty much 11 years now, and that's absolutely crazy to think about. It's also crazy to think about the fact that Revelations released today, 3 years ago. At the time of recording this, not sure when it will be uploaded, but as of today, September 6th, 3 years ago is when Revelations dropped, and that's just something so crazy to think about. And I don't even know how to personally react to that because, man, it feels like less than a year ago is when Revelations dropped, and it feels like less than a year ago when Chronicles dropped. But looking back, wow, we've really gone all the way. You know, we've had 2 games. We've had Infinite Warfare, World War II, and now we're at Black Ops 4, and it's crazy just to think about that. So in this video, I basically just want to talk about the end of the Aether storyline. Should it end? Should it not? Me, personally, and I know not many people share this same opinion, at least the vocal minority do not share this opinion, and that is Aether should end. The Aether storyline has been going on for so long now, 11 years, as we previously stated, from World at War all the way to Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, and now Black Ops 4, where it will supposedly be ending. We don't really know that for sure. A lot of rumors have been circulating around, and there's just a lot going on. So essentially, I think it's just time for the story to end. You know, all good stories must come to an end. It is really painful when a story like this does end, you know. I remember growing up watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and man, I thought that show was going to go on forever, but it did. It ended. It did reach an end. It came to a conclusion. And it was painful, but looking back on it, you know, I'm glad that it ended. I don't know what else they could have really done with the storyline. I mean, they had to revamp it with The Legend of Korra and pretty much do a completely different thing. And that's kind of where the Aether story is heading, you know? We've had this story for so long. We've been to so many different places. Yes, of course, there are still places that we would love to go to, you know, like France, for example. You know, like Paris, France, which is basically, that's been a rumor going on for years and years, basically, that, you know, oh, Paris is going to be the next map, Paris will be the next map, Egypt will be the next map. You know, it's something that's been going on for years, and we can still go there in all of these other maps. You know, we do still have the Chaos maps, which not a lot of people like. Chaos, me personally, I think it's cool. I think it just hasn't picked up all of its steam yet. The end of Ancient Evil really was dope as hell, and I am looking forward to when they continue that series. But personally, at this point, Aether needs to end. It's just been going on, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. You know, I'm not saying, oh, it's been going on for so long, it's terrible at this point, but you know, they've really excelled at most of the things they've done. I mean, they've gone from pretty much one director to another, Jimmy Zielinski to Jason Blundell, and a lot of people prefer the Zielinski maps, a lot of people prefer the Blundell maps. Personally, I enjoy the Blundell maps themselves more, but I enjoyed the storytelling of Zielinski more. And I know Craig Houston was still pretty much like the lead writer at the same time, but Zielinski had kind of this, you know, realistic, gritty tone to it, and Blundell is kind of just out there, sci-fi, crazy, save multiple dimensions type thing, whereas I don't really enjoy that as much as I did, you know, World War II, World War I, evil scientists, Nazis, yada, yada, yada. I think that was much cooler. And at this point, you know, they've kind of exhausted most of their ideas and how far they can go with the story. You know, once they start introducing apothecans and aliens and shit, that's where it kind of just goes out there. I mean, Shadows of Evil was cool. That was a really cool map, and there was quite a bit of lore behind that map. But I mean, you know, introducing like Cthulhu and things like that, yeah, but no at the same time. So, I mean, this is kind of just a rant, kind of just going on about the Aether story, so it's not going to be very well constructed here. But yeah, I think it's just been going on for a little while here. They've gone to the extremes of where they can go. They've had the same set of characters pretty much forever, and I love the characters. These characters are my absolute favorites. Like, I prefer Ultimus and Primus. Actually, I prefer Ultimus to pretty much most comic book characters. Personally, I just think that they've exhausted all of the ideas that they can really do. I mean, we've gone to killing our future selves, to aliens taking over the universe, you know, the Vril, the summoning key, all of that, all of the MacGuffins that we've gone through. I don't think there's much more that they can do with the world that they've set in. And I think what makes it even more difficult is, you know, when you go back and take a look at it, I feel like Monty was a very shoehorned character. We've gone through so many years. You know, we went 8 years of playing Nazi zombies, the Aether storyline. And in Garad Krovi, which now at this point is pretty much the last original map that we've gotten for Aether, but in Garad Krovi, they introduced this all-powerful being who supposedly has been there from the very beginning, Dr. Monty. To me, that just feels really shoehorned in. Like they're trying to come up with an ending, but they've backed themselves into a corner because of the differing of ideas between Zelensky and Blundell, you know? Does that make sense? I think Monty is definitely a shoehorned character. He feels, you know, how are you supposed to have this huge, omnipotent being that controls pretty much everything and can send you back in time, makes a perfect world, and introduce him in pretty much one of the last set of maps ever, basically? You know, that's just weird to me. So we've had, let's go through and count how many maps. So in World at War, we had 4 maps. In Black Ops 1, we had, Kino 5, Ascension, Call of the Dead, Shangri-La, Moon. So we're at 11 maps. I'm not missing any, am I? Okay, yeah. And then we have Transit, Die Rise, Mob of the Dead, Origins. So that takes us to Nuketown, 16. So we're at 16 maps. And then we have Shadows of Evil, Der Eisendrock, The Giant, Zetsebo. So we had a total of 20 maps before we even introduced Dr. Monty. Yes, the Gobblegum machines were there in Black Ops 3 from the start, but we didn't really think anything of it. We just thought, hey, it's just a perk machine, basically. And then after that, so then we have Garad Krovi, and then Revelations, and then we go back, so we have Blood of the Dead, Classified, Alpha Omega. So since then, we've had 5 maps, and Dr. Monty still is kind of this unknown, mysterious guy. So I think that kind of goes to show, and this is, again, just my opinion, but personally, I think that just goes to show they didn't really know how they were wanting to end the story, so they had to introduce this huge, giant being who controls everything. And that, to me, you know, I didn't like it. I didn't really like it. I didn't like having this huge, godlike character, essentially, who controls everything. You know, I think that's just a little too far-fetched for what we had originally in World at War 2 Black Ops 1. I think, personally, the story should have ended, and this is going to get a lot of hate, I think it should have ended at Moon. I think they should have blown up the Earth, and I think they should have blown up the Moon and called it there, and then started a new zombie storyline. While I love all of these new stories, and I love, you know, as much as I can like the multi-universe aspect, I don't like ideas of multiverses. I hate when multiverses are introduced into something, because then I feel like it's just a cop-out. You know, you don't have an idea, or something goes wrong, or something is misconnected. Oh, it's just part of a different dimension. It's cool, whatever. I don't like that. So, yeah, that's basically just what my main ideas and main thoughts were. You know, there's a lot to get into, and I think it might just have to be, you know, like a podcast, really. I mean, I might bring back the podcast. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying that it'll be with Smooth. I'm not gonna lie. So today I texted him, and I was like, hey man, what you doing? And I just didn't get a response, which is sad. But Smooth's a busy guy. But yeah, I kind of want to bring the podcast back. So if you made it this far and you want the podcast to come back, then go to Smooth's channel, go to his most recent video, and just say, hey man, do the podcast with Panther. But anyways, yeah, that's basically it. There are a lot more ideas that I have, but those are kind of the main ones that I just wanted to talk about and discuss. So let me know what you guys think about the Aether storyline ending. Do you want it to end? Do you want it to continue? If you do want it to continue, what route do you want it to take, and where do you want it to go? Anyways, thanks again. My name's been Panther, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.